the imagery that is this otherworldly spiritual technology that is, radiates love and light. That people were affected by it, like on a really deep level, and that they can't get the imagery and the feeling out of their mind and out of their soul.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, which is really really amazing, because I think everybody, when they see this stuff, they recognize it, on a deep level. I've been seeing it for years from all my teachers for over these past 30-some years.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how did you get this imagery that you?
Well, I've been, like you read in my little bio. I had a major spiritual awakening when I was 26, and I had a lot of correspondence with master teachers. And so they actually woke me up by waking up my cells. They encoded my cells with golden light. And for about 8 months straight, I actually felt and was a part of the whole connection of creation on a very deep, profound level. So every time I would see people, I could feel their soul history. I could feel the beauty behind the creation of the trees and the flowers and people, and how everything interacted and was interconnected. And so for 8 months straight, anywhere from 8 to 12 times a day, I sobbed. I did not cry, I sobbed. And I mean, it was a beautiful experience, and at the end of that experience is when, I started receiving a lot of imagery from all the other worlds, and at a certain point they unrestricted my light body. They actually woke it up. So then I would start astral traveling to other worlds and to other places, and see how the harmony of the people and the unity, and how everyone took their time, if you were, and how they were so interconnected, not only telepathically, but through their hearts and mind and souls, because they knew what every single person was on the inside. And if they needed assistance or help in any area, no matter what they were doing, they would stop and help.
Wow.
And they don't have a fraction of like time like we do. Ooh, I got to get to work. Ooh, I really can't do this. It's like you see things, on the internet of people who have like keeled over from their having a stroke, and people just walk right by.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's so anyway, it's really quite profound. So I'm so excited to start to be able to bring these incredible images, to the screen, and to see it a little bit. We see a little bit of the language of the gods, in the trailer. So
it's like when you're talking about the Samaritans of the universe, it awakens the Samaritans within each of us. It's like you're opening a portal to your audience. It's so inspiring.
Yes, thank you so much. Did you guys see the trailer?
We're good.
Well, I did. I don't know if Sash did, but
you mean? Oh.
Oh, there's a trailer. I have it on my website, Aquarian Radio. We'll look at it later. Plus, it's on your website, which is, what's your website?
Yeah, strangeratthepentagon.com.
Strangeratthepentagon.com. I wanted to ask you, Craig, how do you get these images that you have seen that are in your mind from there down onto, describing it to an artist, or how do you get it from there to the screen?
Well, in my book, The Autobiography of an Extraterrestrial Saga, I Am Tehran, I worked with a ET experiencer artist, and her name is Christine Dennett, or she goes by Kasara. Many people have seen her work on all kinds of shows. I connected with her probably around 2003 or 4, And because I really wanted to bring all the images of the extraterrestrial, their suits, their home world, Melchizedek, Pyramid City, at Melchizedek, which is an incredible place. So I worked with her for many years bringing all those together. So when and book 2 is almost done, by the way. It'll be out later this year, and we've done all the artwork as well, and that one's called Waking Tehran. Yeah, that's the sequel, Waking Tehran. So, but what I did is I brought her on board as our costume designer to design the spacesuits, and I also brought her on board to go through my visions, because she's very psychic when I'm sitting with her and going through it. She sketches it out. So we sketched out the landing bay, and we sketched out a lot of these otherworldly environments. And then she goes into her computer and she paints them. So we had them all done up and blown up, and they were all on the set, because, when we're on the set, all anybody is doing is sitting on green chairs on a green screen with a green table, like the shot where all Valiant Thor and all his commanders with Yanaya are sitting around a conference table. Really, in actuality, they're all sitting on green folding chairs that we painted green screen chroma green. And I had a big, giant table built, and we painted that green. So that's all that they had to work with. So what I did is I blew up all of these pieces of artwork and had them on the set so that they would have an idea of what their environment looked like.
Wow. Where did you get the idea for the costumes? Did anybody see it?
Well, here's the cool thing. She went there, and he gave her that. She dreamed them.
Oh.
Yeah, she dreamed them the night before, and she's like I said, she's very connected. So she sketched them all out and sent them to me, and I fell in love with them. So I had Eastern Costume build them. And, and I didn't know this, but again, the master tailor over there, who I've known also for many years, because as a casting director, I used to rent a lot of space out from them, because they had rooms for rent. So I would rent them because it was close to my house when I was casting a movie. And so I knew all the people there. And he's the guy who built Star Trek's uniforms for their first movie, Star Trek The Motion Picture. So, it's all these little pieces of incredible trivia. So he told me even Universal was over there, and they saw the spacesuits and they wanted them. I said, good. Well, you can tell them they can't have them. And another interesting thing is Jeff Jocelyn, who plays Valiant Thor, when he was in his uniform, we shot with him for 2 days, and on my regular camera and on another producer's camera, there is an oval of sparkle light with a little design in the center that appeared over his heart.
Oh, my God.
On several photographs. And I think it was maybe 10 or 12 photographs, and other photographs it wasn't there. So, so it's very interesting. So I'm really thinking that when we do the big film, we may incorporate that design. I felt when I first saw it, it was sort of like a seal of approval.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you think Valiant Thor was somehow there during the filming, physically or in
Yeah, they, you know what, the night before we started shooting, I was sitting in President Eisenhower's chair in the Oval Office. It hadn't been dressed yet. And they took some pictures of me, and there was a gigantic orb above my head, and this orb was filmed or was photographed in several photos that were on the soundstage. So I knew that they were setting an incredible tone. There were other photographs of me taken where there were hundreds of orbs.
Oh, my goodness.
And so I knew that, and then when we were doing the scene with Eisenhower and Valiant Thor, I actually had brought in some really heavy-duty spiritual people to come and just meditate to keep the space, for that day. And they told me right afterwards, and it was interesting because I actually believe this, is because when in rehearsals and all of that, they were almost there, so I figured we'd have to do several takes. But the minute the cameras rolled, they went into this alternate reality, and they went right into it, and it was perfect. And these incredible people who came to help me keep the space beautiful as well, told me that they saw them both being overlit by Valiant Thor and Eisenhower.
Wow.
Oh, the actors.
So, I mean, it's not nothing, that you can prove, but it's interesting. But I really feel that to be true because, like I said, in rehearsals, it wasn't really quite there yet, but I figured let's just, I've taught acting for 30-some years, so I know that what you have to do is you have to get the actor's motor running, and I figured I would get their motor running in 2 takes and keep going, and then then I would have it in the 3rd take, but boy, they zoomed right into it.
They were all in the groove. I got it that this logo or the badge that you could use is like a yantra, is what we call a yantra. You meditate on it. It'll take you, it'll bring to mind the whole movie and then the whole experience that the movie is leading them to. I think it's a really neat idea to focus on this and make it stand out.
Wow, that's really cool. Yeah, I was really thinking about incorporating that because, all of the different commanders, they're on Victor-class ships. So Valiant Thor's is Victor 1, then there's Victor 2, Victor 3, Victor 4, Victor 5, all the way up into the hundreds. So I was kind of toying with the idea of incorporating all of that in, within the circle and the design. So, I just think it'd be really, really cool.
You're going to have these photos available on any of your websites for people to see?
Probably, yeah. I'm revamping right now the Stranger at the Pentagon website with all the new material and and all of the the new stills and things. Because since we shot on the red, we're able to pull stills from all the visual effects shots, so they look like you were there and you photographed them. So I'm just getting all that ready. So, if people visit the website this week, if they go back in a week or two, it'll be all different as well. So it's a lot of new stuff. And we're going to, at some point, we'll edit all the stuff from the Burbank Film Festival, all the interviews with the actors and, everybody under the sun. We had, J.J. Hurtak was there. Laura Eisenhower, lots of people in the community. So there were so many that I missed because there were so many people in it. It was so insane with the commotion and everything that was going on and the excitement. I missed a lot of people. So it'll be interesting when I finally get to see all of the interviews. I go, oh, look, they were here.
So that's interesting. You mentioned Laura Eisenhower, who is Eisenhower is the great granddaughter of Ike. How did you handle, Eisenhower's situation?
Well, Eisenhower was for Valiant Thor, and always was. So, she knew that part of the story. I had talked with her many times about it. So she actually really liked the film, And Nixon and Eisenhower were for his